Det känns som att vi är mogna att börja dagens program här i plenum. Och det är IKEA som är först ut idag. Procurement strategies, the IKEA way är rubriken för det här föredraget. Och det handlar alltså om hur ett av världens främsta företag med en av de kunnigaste inköpsorganisationerna tillsammans med en av de främsta experterna på strategisk sourcing ska ge er verktyg och praktiska tips för inköpsarbetet. Det är Kölemo som är Purchase Area Manager på IKEA och Gaby van Otterdijk som är Leadership Partner Sourcing and Vendor Management från Gartner. Jag föreslår att vi ger dem en varm applåd och hälsar dem välkomna upp på scenen.
Okej.
Och ni är naturligtvis, det har herrarna garanterat här, hjärtligt välkomna att ställa frågor i anslutning till föredraget också, precis som vi har vant oss vid.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope what he was saying was really positive about this, because I didn't understand anything. But I assume that's all going to be very good.
Hopefully.
Maybe you want to start with some introductions?
Yes, I will do. My name is Kölemo, not Kölemo. It's a I'm working for IKEA in our indirect company for indirect spend, indirect services and material. I'm leading the category IT procurement, and I've done that for 10 years' time approximately.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Gaby van Otterdijk. I work with Gartner. I'm a leadership partner. I've been with Gartner for about 8.5 years, and mainly focusing on sourcing, procurement, vendor management. As a leadership partner, I'm supporting clients all over Europe in coaching, guiding, and supporting them as a trusted advisor. And so all my clients and members, like Kölemo, are either procurement manager, sourcing manager, or vendor manager. What we're going to talk about today is a little bit different than you've been discussing, I think, during the last day. We're more, well, on one hand, we're from the commercial side. On the other hand, folks will be a little bit more on IT. But if you look at most categories, I think IT is one of the most complex ones. So that's why it's really interesting to see what's happening there. So this is our agenda for today. We'll start with some theory about what we see happening in the futures of procurement. What are the 6 futures that we see for the different roles, for the different organizations that they can start working on and that they should be focusing on. So that's the theory behind, and then Kölemo will dive more into the details of how they've done it in IKEA, how they're having a transition towards becoming more strategic in the role of sourcing and procurement. And then, of course, in the end, some time, I hope we have some time left for questions. And we'll also ask what your future is and where you want to be. So, the world is changing, especially in IT, but I think in every company we're changing. And we're challenging really, sourcing and procurement organizations are really being challenged with the business. Business is asking more and more, and they want to decide and they want to change. And they're also looking for new things happening. What we see happening at this moment is what we call the multiple forces coming in. We see cloud happening, cloud sourcing. We see mobile, social, big data, but also Internet of Things, and even 3D printing. All these new terms, all these new innovations are coming in, and this is really changing the world. This means that every company is changing. Any company will become an IT company, and that means that all of you will also become some kind of IT organization. Your business leaders, your organizational leaders, your public leaders will have to know what's the impact of IT in the services that they're delivering. It's not just about organizing just standard services. No, IT will step in, and big part of your organization and your services will be around IT. So organizations will become IT organizations, and budgets will become IT budgets. This means that we're at a crossroad. The sourcing and procurement organization and the future is at a crossroad at this moment. And that's because the business leaders are taking IT decisions and also sourcing decisions for you. And that means that they're not always happy. And that's why we have this picture. this guy is not really happy. And why he's not happy? He thinks that both IT and sourcing are too slow. It's all too expensive. And everyone's too inflexible. So that's a big challenge. So what happens? IT spend, if you look at the total spend, 25% of the total sourcing spend and IT spend is spent outside of IT. So business is directly procuring sourcing. That's what we saw already in 2013. And now in 2015, we expect to grow that number to 40% or more in many industries. So that's a really big change. And how are you even going to cope with that? And what also happens is that the sales from the service providers are also focusing on going to the business directly. Why should they go through IT or through procurement? Business can buy it themselves. Business can just pull their credit card and buy any kind of service, SaaS services, cloud services. They can do anything, and that's no issue at all. So they can go around you. So what has to happen is you have to gain trust from the business. You have to become a strategic enabler for core business initiatives. That's really important. The second thing is that you have to get a clear vision and a clear path to execution. And you have to make sure that you carefully balance, on one hand, risk mitigation, and on the other hand, ensuring that you add value to the business. So what we've done, we've looked at the sourcing roles and where is your sourcing role. And we think that you should be redefining your role. Where are you and where do you want to be? And if you don't do it, then the business will do that. So you have to really look for this and see where do you want to be and how do you want to service your business. So if you look at these two axes, if you look at the vertical axis, you'll see the sourcing activity. And sourcing activity, the lowest row on that one is enabler. Sourcing and procurement as an enabler. That means you are supporting and guiding the business, but business is actually doing the procurement themselves. So they are actually executing the procurement, and you are supporting them and guiding them. In that top level, in the top row, you'll see the executing. That's where sourcing and procurement organizations are doing the execution, are doing the sourcing, and are really moving forward and helping the business and actively doing it for them. If you look at the horizontal axis, you see the externalized. In that box, sourcing and procurement is outsourced. So all you do there is service the outsourced organization that's doing the procurement for you. If you look at the run column, that's where you help the business to do their business, day-to-day business as usual. So it's the run side. They run their business and you help them doing that. While the grow and transform is where sourcing is really helping to transition the business, to really help them moving forward, being proactive. And while in the run side you're more reactive, this is the proactive side where you proactively help them to support and to grow. If you then see at the different boxes that are in this matrix, the first one is the spectator. The spectator is one where the business bypasses sourcing, buys directly, and you can just watch and see it happen. You might have some processes, but not too much. If you're more in the executing role, that's where you are the broker. You're actively managing those outsourced sourcing providers and procurement providers, and the business buys through those external source brokers, but you are guiding and supporting them. If you're the facilitator, you are in a role where you provide frameworks to the business. So you help them with standard processes, templates, and services. Well, if you're the tactician, that's where I think majority of the organizations are. This is where you are, you're really helping tactically buy new services. You really help them in their day-to-day business with buying these services and supporting them with their needs. If you then go to the advisor is there in a strategic role. He's strategically advising how to move forward, what's happening in the world, and in our area, what's happening in IT, what are the new trends, and proactively helping the business to support and to guide them. However, the business is still doing the procurement themselves. And then finally, we have the strategist, where sourcing is the strategic buyer for the business. They are strategically doing what's needed to help the business to grow and transform their business. So what does this mean? If you are a spectator, this is something where you don't want to be. This is really the most unwanted space to be, and you have to try to avoid this position. And if you are in such a position, you really have to make sure that you are able to collect so much information that you can step out and grow to at least to become the broker. In the broker, you are really the spider in the web. You have to make sure that you build that network of trusted partners and facilitate this service and this network towards the business. And you have to make sure that you plan this well, that you verify what's happening and make sure that the services that are being delivered are the right ones for the business. So as a facilitator, as I already said before, this is where you build templates. You really help the business to have checklist templates, RFP templates, must answer questions around sourcing risk, around compliancy, and you really help to facilitate tactical sourcing. In the tactician area, this is where you really deliver the services. So you have to make sure that you really govern the demand supply. You have to make sure that it's all working well and as expected by the business. You have to be agile, you have to be lean, you have to make sure that you are doing the services effectively, efficiently, and add value to the business. And make sure that you communicate the results very well, so they know exactly where you are, how you're doing it, and what's the value from your side. Then we get to the advisor. The advisor is then a bit different because they will step in and really say, well, these are the trends that are happening. They anticipate on those market trends. They see what's happening in the world, shouldn't we do something with it? They really push forward the business to grow and to transform. And so you're a kind of business consultant for them. You really help them moving forward. And that makes that you really focus on delivering value. But in the end, the business will still do the procurement. And that's the difference with the strategist, where we see the strategist to actively maintain that relationship with the business, actively support and organize the demand supply, and really do that and execute it also. The focus there is on business value, value creation, risk avoidance, and it's well from an IT perspective, but also in other categories you could say the same. This is really leading with new technology and innovation and vision. And what we've seen is that IKEA is now moving from the tactician to the strategist function, and Kölemo is going to say how he's doing that. Okay.
Thank you. First, I will start to talk a little bit about IKEA. I will take the opportunity to sell in us if that's needed, I don't know. Our vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people. And it's not just about selling furniture. It's about taking social responsibility. It could be supporting children in India so they could go to school. It could be that we support that people have clean water. We see to that the reducing of water consumption and energy. So it's just much, much more than just selling the furniture. IKEA is growing a lot, and we have a very huge growth plans in something called Growing IKEA Together 2020. It started in 2010. We work often in 10-year circles with our directions. So in 2020, we are aiming for have 50 billion euros in revenue and sales. We should have 1.5 billion visitors. Today it's about half, and we need to speed up that to the 2020. We have expecting to have 2 billion visitors to our website, and we are creating a new e-commerce website. Today you could only buy furniture in 13 countries. That will change now in 1.5 to 2 years' time to cover the whole world. And that will be a channel of very high importance for IKEA. We are expecting to be close to 250,000 co-workers. Today we are around 150,000 to 160,000 over the world. And we are still growing with stores, even if we'll go in the e-commerce way now much more. We expect the stores to be the crucial part in IKEA. So let's move in more to the procurement side. And this is maybe a little bit boring slide. It's about our direction, growing IKEA together. It stands on 4 cornerstones, which is the growth. People, our co-workers, is one of the most important things we have, and we see everyone as a talent. It's about sustainability and, of course, lowering the cost. To reach this, we have a bunch of strategies, and one is supplying strategy, which then includes the procurement strategy. And the procurement strategy is based on 3 cornerstones. It's low total cost, it's the IKEA suppliers, partners for growth, and it's the IKEA One Purchase, simple and professional. I will touch them all, but especially the suppliers for growth. We all need in the IKEA to support this, and all functions, companies, etc. need to do their thing to be able to reach the goals. And in my company, the IKEA IMS, Indirect Material and Services, we also need to do something. And just to show you where we are right now, or end of last year, the sales is where the sales for total IKEA at the moment. But we address 2.2 billion euros in indirect spend. We have extremely scattered range. We have not much standardization at all, for example, for cleaning, waste, security, etc. We have 60,000 plus indirect suppliers globally. I would say it's more close to 70,000. Let's just handle them in a vendor management is extremely complicated and expensive, of course. We have a tender-driven approach. I mean, when there is need for something, we send out an RFP. I generalize a bit, to be honest, but that's the way it works. I-Way is our code of conduct, and I-Way is extremely important for IKEA. There where we see to that child labor prevention, minimum salaries, etc. So that is something that all suppliers need to sign. And then that is a IKEA term, INCA focus. It's for the IKEA group. So, where are we then heading? Yeah, we are heading to cover the indirect spend for 7 billion euros. So it's a huge change over these 5 years now. We need to standardize our range, have standards for how we do cleaning, how we do security, and so on. We hopefully will reach a lower level of suppliers, and that is to 15,000. And yeah, I doubt this, but we need to have a goal. That is our vision, to reduce the amount of suppliers. Long-term plans set strategy on category level that will be implemented out in the countries in a category matrix. So the categorization is there, but it's not implemented out in the local countries. Every supplier should be I-Way approved, and we are not just looking at IKEA, we are looking at the other companies in the family, the Ikano, etc. So, then, going to my category, the IT procurement. Our IT landscape we have today does not fulfill or have the capability to meet the plans and the goals we have. It's a mess, I would say. It's looked like this. I think you out there have seen this many, many times, that you have that in your organization also. It's a messy spaghetti with a lot of suppliers, it's hard to integrate, high maintenance cost, and there are limitations. You can't expand. So what we need to do and have done now is that we have moved to a new landscape, which there are 17 platforms. And that is done together with IT, business, and the architects. And this is the base for success. We have then, what I will come to now, is that we have selected 8 suppliers already without any tendering process and so on. So in this team with IT, business, and architects have selected them. And that is how we now see that we should continue, and I will tell you about how we will work with them. Something that connects to what you talked about, Gaby, this time to market. We see oftenly that the business side try to go around procurement because of we are too slow. And I guess you have other rules and laws to follow in the public sector. But I guess you have seen this anyhow, that you sometimes they take another shortcut to avoid a long purchasing cycles. For it could be 6 months, 8, 10, even 1 year. And that is absolutely too long. So they go their own way. One is that they go into the internet and find a service. Oh, this service is really good. I think we should have that. And just to click away, order the service without have any knowledge about what they have clicked in the tick box, I agree on the terms and conditions. Absolutely no idea sometimes. There could be enormous risk for intellectual property rights, of course, confidentiality, and not the least personal data protection, which is extremely important in the public sector to follow the law, and the private also, of course. And the legalization now from 1st of January, where there is enormous fines for us if we are not protect. I mean, it could be up to 5% of the revenue. If you think that we have 50 billion euros in revenue and 5% in fine for not having a proper personal data protection in the agreements, it's huge. So, what to do then? What we did with our strategic partners that I told you before, these 8, we were thinking, how should we manage this? By a procurement guy, it's not good that someone have just appointed, you should go with X supplier for this big, huge area. It's not at all by heart good. But to be able to be time to market and support the business, sometimes you need to accept it and think a little bit, what other ways could you take? So we took another approach, asking our executives to meet the executives on the supplier side, telling them why we are doing this, what our aim and goal. And it was very simple. We asked for only, and now we are talking about software suppliers, I would say, to be clear about that. Give us your best discount you can. And Gartner, they said, forget it. You will never have any success. If you do not commit to a volume to buy, you will never get a good discount. Okay, but we like to challenge. We are IKEA. We're doing things different, so why not? We did it, so we should prove for Gartner that they were wrong. So we just sent out an RFQ, just asking for a license model and a discount model. Very simple. But we know volume commitment from IKEA. We also said that this discount should be based on a public price list. So we could compare with something. It's not like someone could come and say, yeah, IKEA, here is a price list and you have 80% discount on this. Okay? How do we know that that price list is the one that is the public one or the original one? It maybe is someone they have done for us. So 80% is fantastic. So, and I could say that we almost succeeded. Of those 8, 5 were really keen. They answered this. 3 said that we are too small because they have just a small portion of this platform. So we said, okay, that's fine. But these 5, 3 of them, they presented a public price list that you could see on the internet. At least that is then the public for everyone to buy. So it's more, you could say it's more safe with this discount that they gave us. It was also a discount model that was not to exceed. I mean, we could negotiate better, of course. So it was not, this is the price, here we go. So we could negotiate better prices, of course. And what we promised them, that if we are going to buy something that are not in the platform, that we are going out to on a tender process, an ordinary one, they should always be invited. We grew this we built this on 3 principles, 3 very simple principles, not complicated, that is agreed with the suppliers also. The first one is that we should always use products from the chosen vendors or suppliers. Always. So if we buy something additional, it should come from them. If there is not a business case that supports another solution, it could be. But the general is principle 1, use products from those vendors. Principle 2, we should involve the suppliers very early in the process. Maybe in a pre-study where we could see that together with the supplier, showing our requirements and see what they could deliver, a gap analysis. And if there is a gap, the supplier should have the possibility to add it on to their roadmap for the coming versions. So that's very important that they are with us early in the process. And the third principle, we should strive to use standards and not customize. And that is something we have been extremely bad on in IKEA. We would like to do it our own way. Sometimes it's not good, not when it comes to IT systems, I guess. So it could be that we need to adopt the business way of doing business a bit to adopt to solution, so we could keep down the cost. Otherwise, it's a risk. We could have very high maintenance cost, very high upgrades cost, etc. So this is the 3 principles that we're standing on. And of course, I mean, if they do not behave in the right manner, the suppliers, of course, they will not continue winning business or get more business. So it's important that the commercial conditions are in line with our expectation. Otherwise, they will not have the possibility to deliver in the future. So this is very quickly a view of how we have done, and in the most of the cases it works well, and we have seen very good results so far, and the time to market is much shorter out of a procurement perspective. What I could add, that now we are talking about software or service solutions, we have of course something that takes long time, that is those guys who should implement a solution. Those activities takes time. We're creating the statement of works and all those things. But for buying the software or the services, we have shortened the time dramatically. Yeah, and remember, home is the most important place in the world. That's good to know.
Okay, let me go to the last slide. So the question now actually is, where are you now and where do you want to be? And I think this is actually, what we've seen is that IKEA is really trying to move from the tactician towards the strategist. And I think that's also a question you should start asking yourself. Where are you now and where do you want to go? And make sure that you are able to get to this level together with your business. So to that, we want to leave it and we want to give you some time for some questions. And always, if there's any questions afterwards, you can always reach us at these email addresses.
Absolutely.
Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
de fick ingen applåd. Ja, tack så. Thank you. Great. From your experience, where do most sourcing managers, where are they? In which box?
In which box?
Yeah.
I think the middle two boxes, both the facilitator as a tactician, that's where most procurement organizations are. Some, especially when you're outsourced, we see them in a brokering, but even in spectators. And what's interesting to see is, in a lot of organizations, you see organizations split. Part of the organization is a broker, part of the organization is a facilitator, and maybe in one business unit or department, you'll see that they are really the strategists already. So you see them also diversified in one organization. Yeah.
Okay. Should we make a poll? Ask
Yeah,
people where they think themselves that they are?
Yeah, and then you can, I would then say, what's the biggest part of your organization, or where you are responsible for where you are? That's a good question.
What we could add, of course, it's not just for IT, this is general for all sourcing. It's not just IT, if
Absolutely.
you think. So it could be for all indirect or direct spend, of course.
Okay.
So,
anyone a spectator?
Do we have any spectators here?
That's good.
No, of course not.
A broker?
Brokers, be honest.
Everyone is still doing their sourcing themselves? Okay, that's good. Any facilitators?
Yeah, a couple of facilitators here and there.
Okay. Well, then probably tactician. Oh, not too many either.
There's a tactician.
There's a few too. Good.
Okay.
Advisors?
It's you.
A couple of advisors as well, here and there.
Well, either we're going to have a lot of hands now, or we're just going to miss a lot of hands.
Yes, I think
Any
so.
strategists? Also just a few?
Yes, a few.
Okay.
Some feel that they are both facilitators and strategists.
Yeah.
So is that natural, right?
Yeah, that's natural, absolutely. You can't be everywhere at the top level, I think. And it also depends on the category, it depends on the organization, on the business unit, etc. Yeah.
Okay.
What I could add, if I go to my own organization, the strategy is that I think the IT category, at least in our company, it's a complex world, but we have moved much further than the other categories that we have for facility management and professional service, etc. So they are definitely not, but we want to move. That is our goal for being, when I talked about we need to standardize and have the strategies in place so we could grow, be able to grow.
For how long have you been working with this model? I mean, how long did it take you to do the research and start applying the model?
It started 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a...
And you have a continuous evaluation all along the way?
Yeah, we see the result now. When we started this thinking 2 years ago, we were a couple of guys that we will want to do this, and we get the CEO on board for this. But this target landscape that I show you came just a year ago. So we were really before them, and that was good. That was really good, because otherwise I think we have not had this situation. We have maybe been delayed 1 more year.
Okay. And so far the results have been according to plan?
Yeah.
Or better?
According to plan.
According to plan.
Everything could always be better. You should just be pleased for 1 minute. That is what our founder said. Ingvar Kamprad said, yes, it's fantastic. My first billion, he said, but now just 1 minute and then we move on.
Yeah, okay. Like a football team or a hockey team
exactly.
that's just scored a goal.
Yeah.
You can't lean back, because then the others will get you. Okay. Questions from the audience? Please feel free. Yes. We'll give you a microphone. It's coming rapidly. Där har du en dam som sitter, som gärna får berätta.
Hi, I'm Crystal from SKF. I'm wondering about these, you talked about the sourcing and RFQ before, around the volume discounts. Is that including all the software a sourcing supplier is offering, or is only the volume discounts you are getting based on the software you have in-house?
Now, it was decided the interest areas that we have, for example, for retail or supply area. So it was not the full, we should not mention all, but let's say there is one big supply, Oracle, just take an example. We defined what kind of products that should be in that bag.
So you're not opening it up to the business to go shopping
No.
for even more software by this, so you're
No.
locking it down?
No.
Are you doing the same with the consultancy?
We will do it now. We will do it now.
With your strategic suppliers?
Yeah. So we have 3 strategic suppliers that are doing this, call it implementation and or service integration. That is, we have selected 3 for being the partners for that. But that is a little bit tougher, a little bit harder. And as you know the big ones that you also struggle with sometimes in your company. That could be a little bit messy. So that we have not come so far.
Okay.
Tack så mycket. Fler frågor? More questions?
Over there.
For the gentleman. Yes, over there is another gentleman with a question.
Hi, Jan Mattsson, Stockholms läns landsting. You touched upon it, but when you said that you're going for strategists, but isn't there somewhere you strategically try to be a broker in certain areas of procurement, not necessarily business areas, but perhaps in parts of the purchase to pay process or something like that? Have you considered those ideas?
Well, the question is, in the broker area, you're really outsourced, and you have not outsourced any procurement at all.
No.
I mean, procurement outsourcing isn't that uncommon in the private sector, and sometimes you do it strategically for low amount buying and those kind of
We are looking into it. Definitely, we come to the professional services. I mean, buying consultants. I mean, it's not just IT or management. It could be people working in the store or the warehouses and so on. So there we are. What we have started to do. We have centralized this managed service into our own inside IKEA. But there is, we are looking for, if in a couple of years, we could be the next step to source that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, fint. Fler frågor? More questions? Any hands? It's early in the morning, I know.
And party yesterday.
It was late yesterday, yeah, so it was early in the morning even yesterday, I think.
It was,
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your
you very much.
presentation.
Yeah.
Give them a warm round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tack ska ni ha.